5th of March, Rabbi Moore, Parsha Hashavua.
In this Parsha's Sisa, at the time of the Chet HaEgel, as a result of that, and Moshe Rabbeinu pleaded on behalf of the Jewish people, and he said, if you don't forgive them, erase me from your safe, meaning from your scroll, from the Sefer Torah. And even though Lamais HaKadosh Baruch Hu did forgive them, okay, so therefore it was only a conditional, should we say, not curse is the right word, a conditional imposition of a punishment upon himself. Nevertheless, Chazal say, a person necessarily shouldn't say these things because even if it's al tanai, it may be fulfilled to a certain extent. And therefore, Moshe Rabbeinu's name was erased from the Torah, at least in one parsha. And that parsha is Parsha's Tetzaveh. So, but here we go back again to Hashem speaks to Moshe, saying mentioning Moshe's name clearly. Okay, there's a whole big discussion why Dafka Parsha's Tetzaveh. I'm not going to go into that right now. Anyway, okay.
So it makes Hashem sound arbitrary and capricious.
Okay, what does it mean exactly? I mean, I quote you, it's a Chazal, which the Baal HaTorah mentions at the beginning of last week's Parsha. It's a more Makkas. V'killas chacham alfilu al tanai bo. If a chacham enunciates, says a curse, even if it's unconditional, nevertheless it will still be fulfilled to a certain extent. What does that mean? Why should that be? The Maisa is in general terms. It doesn't really fully answer the question. In general terms, a person should be very careful with his words, because words have a powerful effect. But it doesn't answer it that's not the full answer to this question. I don't know.
It doesn't seem to be
okay
at all.
Sorry?
Doesn't seem to be even a partial answer.
I hardly hear you. Can you turn up your volume?
I said it doesn't seem to me to be even a partial answer. It doesn't seem to be an answer at all. So be careful with
why?
Because there's no rhyme or reason to it. There's no justice to it. He said something on condition. If you don't pay me, then I won't do the work. So then he pays you, and what? You don't do the work because you said it anyway? Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, so exactly, you have to understand what that means. Correct. You're in that respect, you are correct.
So Moshe says, if you don't forgive this people, wipe me out of your book. And Hashem forgave the people. So what sense does it make to say, and then he went ahead and wiped me out of the book anyway?
Okay, you're right. So this whole principle that even kilalas chacham, that if a chacham enunciates a curse, even if he does it al tanai, right, he does it conditional, nevertheless, it will be somewhat still fulfilled. Why should that be at all? That doesn't make sense. You're right. I mean, that in itself requires... I don't think that's
the explanation.
What, sorry?
I don't think that's the explanation. I think the explanation is that there was some correctness in what Moshe said. And therefore, because there was some correctness in it, Hashem implemented it to a small extent.
There was somewhat?
Some correctness. Moshe wasn't just mouthing some words, some meaningless words. There was a lot of depth behind what he was saying.
Okay.
There was a correctness to the idea that Moshe should be removed from the book.
I mean, there was like a longness.
Be careful what you say, because even if what you say doesn't make any sense, it'll happen.
Maybe, I don't know.
that's a violation of justice. It's that there was something to it. There's
Yeah,
a
okay, I don't know. I don't know what to answer you. Okay. Yeah. By the way, can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
I don't know, you sound distant, Lou. Your volume is either low.
I don't know. I'll check
I
my.
check my volume, it's on 5.
I can hear Lou perfectly fine, Rabbi.
Also, you guys hear me. Maybe something here by me.
Yeah, my microphone is set correctly according to the settings here.
Okay. 1 second. Okay. Or maybe it's a video. Okay. Yeah, let's go. Fine. Next part. Okay, prosecute base.
He Sisa es Rosh B'nai Yisrael Lif Ku De Hem V'Nasenu Ish Kofer Nafsho LaHashem Bif Kod Osam V'lo Giyeh Vahem Negef Beef Code Osam. That's
Okay.
wrong pasuk. When you will take the census of the children of Israel,
Yeah, what were you? It's
Pardon?
interesting. Okay. Yeah.
According to their counting,
Well, by their counted ones. Yeah, let's put them.
every man shall give an atonement to Hashem or for Hashem for his soul. And there will be no plague when counting them.
And then it's a follow-up. Below you here. And then thus there will be no plague when counting them.
Okay, so Rashi says, Kisisa Lashon, second here, sorry. Lashon Kabbalah Kisar Gumo. It's an expression of taking according to the translation by Onkelos.
Or receiving, obtaining. Taking
Receiving.
to simplify it.
Kabbalah, isn't Kabbalah? Oh, Kabbalah is to receive.
Right.
Right. Okay. Kishit tach hots likabel sachum
Yes.
minyanam. When you will wish to take the total of their number.
Yes. When you wish to obtain or to receive the total number, their total number.
The das kama haim, to know how many there are. Al tim nes.
Tim name.
Al tim name. Lagul goles.
Do not count them
by their heads.
Right.
Ella yitnu kol echad machatzis hashekel. Rather, each one will give a half shekel. Who I'm sorry, v'simneh es hashkalim, and you will count the shkalim, the shekels.
Right?
V'seida min yanam, and you will know how many. V'lo yiyeh vahem negef. There will not be a plague among them. Sheha minyan sho late bo ayin hara. For the evil eye can affect that which has been counted.
Right.
V'hadever ba alehem, and pestilence can come upon them. Kamo shematzinu bimei David, as we have found in the days of David.
Right.
And my footnote says there's a Rashi to Bereshis that apparently explains this.
The idea being is that the Gemara has a similar kind of saying. Ein brocha shoyre el mash nisalim min ha'ayim. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu brings bracha, it's something which is not. It was even when HaKadosh Baruch Hu does miraculous things, HaKadosh Baruch Hu tries to do it in a how should we say, surreptitious way. Maybe I'm not sure that's the right word. But it means that that it's not an absolutely, you see, because on the one hand, the Kodesh Baruch Hu is in control of everything. On the other hand, the Kodesh Baruch Hu wants there to be an element of free choice. So the Kodesh Baruch Hu hides his control over everything with the shroud of nature. So people can be misled to think these things are happening automatically, naturally. So therefore, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that's something immaculately, let's say over here, something becomes miraculously abundant. Okay, HaKadosh Baruch Hu won't do it necessarily in an open manner, but he'll do it in a surreptitious manner that people say, well, you know, if it's counted, you've counted exactly. You've got 1,000 shekel over here in your wallet, right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not always going to be there 1,500 shekel in the wallet. But if you haven't counted how much is in the wallet, could be HaKadosh Baruch Hu would all of a sudden make there to be more money because it hasn't been counted. So who told you that it was really less before? Obviously, a person may know that obviously there was less before, but it's done in a hidden manner. It's the same thing over here. Conversely, that if something which is counted in a specific way, meaning they're saying, well, we have over here 600,000 Yidden, and they've been counted by head. He says, oh, there's 600,000 individuals. Let's look at these 600,000 individuals. Are they worthy of being part of the Jewish people? Or are they worthy of being, are they worthy of living? Are they worthy of remaining alive? And therefore, this will, in a way, arouse Ayin Hora. Now, Ayin Hora is a subject I'm not going to go into now, but it's something which is in a way, like radiation. It's a spiritual radiation.
Wow.
That's the best way of putting it. Okay? It is something real, right? But it's something which is not visible. And cause and effect or whatever, this is a subject which is I think it's certainly beyond the realm of certainly of Nigla or whatever we can understand. So kids, don't want to go into it too much. But the Maisa, it's the same idea that something which is clearly defined is subject to anything that has to be anything that changed that has to happen to that object, right? Is if it's on the, should we say, on the abundance, let's say suddenly it will grow or something like that. It can't grow just without, I think, because it's been clearly defined. And on the other hand as well, that if it's clearly pointed out here, these 600,000 men over here, well, we're going to see, well, is each one deserving of being here? Is each one deserving of being a member of the Jewish people? So therefore, Ayin Hora will have an effect. Okay? Anyway, so therefore, that's why anyway, so therefore, when you count the Jewish people.
How are you suggesting that counting through the shekels changes any of what you just said?
Oh, so therefore, this will answer. I'm going to ask you another question. Why each person give half a shekel? Each person should give a shekel. You count the number of shekels. Good question.
Yeah, fine.
So the answer is, and some other thing is that when you say the mice at the end of the day, they're 300,000 shekels. So you're not saying directly there's 600,000 people. You've got to make a mental step to tell you that. So therefore, it's not explicitly saying we've got 600,000 people. If you counted 600,000 shekels, then it could, but even then it's not saying, like you also need some sort of mental step because there's more behind actually giving half shekels. But let's say you'd count paper clips. Each person will give a paper clip and then paper clips. You're not directly counting the people. You're making a mental connection that after you count the paper clips, so you're saying, 1 second, there's 600,000 paper clips here. That means there's 600,000 people. So therefore, that takes the edge of the actual counting of the individual. There needs to be some sort of abstract mental connection between the two. So therefore, that takes away the edge of this Ayin Hora.
I have a completely different explanation.
Yeah, let's hear.
Ayin Hara refers to jealousy and or envy.
And it may do, but may not.
The concept is that we should be sensitive to the dangers of boasting and showing off because they can elicit a response of envy and jealousy. So therefore, when we counting is something that can lead to boasting. Look how many we are. Look how big we are. Look how important we are.
Okay.
When we count, we want to be sensitive. So in order to increase our sensitivity to the idea that there's a danger involved in counting, we count in an unusual way to remind us to be careful about jealousy and envy.
That is true. I will agree with that. On the other hand, okay, that's not the be all and end all of it, shall we say? Okay, let's. I'm not super about that. Okay, there's definitely what you're saying is it's very true what you're saying. But it doesn't. It's not the full story. Because okay, first of all, whether Ayin Hora is based entirely because of envy, that in itself is a subject of discussion. Could be that it is certainly, shall we say, triggered by envy, but it could be there's a possibility of Ayin Hora even without envy. There's still the effect of Ayin Hora even without envy or jealousy. Okay. Anyway, I don't want to go further into it. Okay, but anyway, because over here you say it's going to whose jealousy are we going to arouse over here?
We're not arousing anybody's jealousy. We're fixing into our own psyche a sensitivity.
Yeah, but Rashi says, but it has effect of Ayin Hora. There is an effect of Ayin Hora. So how is this Ayin Hora triggered?
What are you referring to in the Rashi?
Yeah.
Oh, when it says an evil eye can affect that which has been counted?
Yes.
Well, I have a footnote here that says some suggest that the mechanism through which the evil eye operates is an ethical one. The blessings bestowed by God upon an individual should not serve as a source of anguish to others. If one allows his blessings, e.g., wealth, children, etc., to cause pain to others less fortunate, and certainly if one flaunts them, one arouses a divine judgment against himself and a reevaluation of his fitness for those blessings. This can lead to their eventual loss, according to Michtov mi Eliyahu.
Right. Okay. So he's saying basically, but it's basically made on the idea of based on the idea of that it's caused by jealousy.
Right. By making somebody feel bad.
Right.
Look how many people we are, 600,000. We're great. We're better than you.
Right. So, but I'm saying even in this situation necessarily, we're not the ones who actually causing the jealousy, because there is no necessarily any single person who is whose jealousy is aroused as a result of it. Understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's not necessarily gonna result in a plague if nobody is jealous.
See, that's what I'm not sure about. You see, the time of David HaMelech, or maybe it's interesting. It's an interesting point, but it could be. I mean, the Mepharshim dwell on this. How could David HaMelech make such a mistake? How could he make such a mistake?
I'm not really that familiar with this, with what happened with David.
The story goes that he thought that David HaMelech, he went ahead. Akash Baruch Hu gave him a test, actually. Okay, and Lemaisa, I'll say Lemaisa, he failed in that test. But the question is, because he failed on something which sounds like too obvious for words, right? It's something seems so simple, yet David HaMelech seems in that aspect. I mean, he made a mistake. Clearly, the Chazal say he made a mistake. He thought so the question is, what did he think? It seems like every kid in Cheder knows that you're not allowed to count people individually, and he did. So maybe this is touching on a point which is which maybe makes it a bit more plausible. He thought, well, listen, there's nobody's being jealous over here. So therefore, what's the problem of counting it? It's only if it's aroused by jealousy. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, what did he do exactly? He took
Question, what? Sorry?
he took a census by counting the
He
people
took the census of the Jewish people, yes.
of all the Jewish people.
Yes.
Okay, and he didn't use a shekel. He counted them by actually counting them.
Counted them directly.
And as a result of that, there was a plague.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know.
No, so I'm saying if you were saying like you're saying now that it's that it's based on Ein Hora, and if you case the situation where they think there's no Ein Hora, so I say no problem, we can go ahead and do it. Maybe that was his mistake. I don't know. I'm just throwing out a thought.
Right.
Okay. Anyway, let's fine. Okay, let's go weiter. Okay, let's go further. Where are we up to? Meir.
Okay, whoops.
What's
I
in Yud
lost
Gimel?
my screen. Okay, there we go.
So you lost
Yud
yourself.
Gimel. It says, Zeh yitnu kol ha'over al ha'pikudim machatzit ha'shekel b'shekel ha'kodesh esrim geira ha'shekel machatzit ha'shekel truma la Hashem. Okay, so what? And this is what they gave or should give, maybe. Yitnu will give. It says all who pass among those who are counted a half the shekel, the shekel HaKodesh. It's a holy shekel. The shekel is 20 geira, half of the shekel as a truma, donation to Hashem.
To Hashem.
Okay. It's got a lot of detail about the shekel there.
Right.
Okay. So Rashi says they knew that what they will give.
This actually makes it even more interesting is because Rashi's going to say over here, this was like a coin minted for this purpose. A coin which never existed before. Let's see.
Hiralo kamin matbeya shel eish. So he showed him, I guess Hashem showed Moshe, a type of coin of fire.
Right. By the way,
yeah,
we're living now in a computer age. I'm wondering, I'm just suggesting, I'm not saying this, it could be it was like a virtual picture, and that's what's called by Aish, not Be'ashel Aish. Means it was like just in the same way as a screen.
Mm-hmm.
Your computer screen is really made up of firing electrons screen. I think that's the way it works somehow. Okay.
Electrons hit the screen and cause it to glow.
Right. So that is a kind of fire. So Matbea Shalesh means a virtual picture of this coin.
I can see you calling it fire, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You can call it that. It's not.
Umishkalad machatzit hashekel. Its weight is half a shekel. Yamarlo kazet yitnu. And he said to him, Kazeh yitnu. They were given like this.
Like this they shall give.
Oh, like this they shall give. Oh, okay. Let's see. Ha'over al pikudim. Those who pass on the count, the ones that are counting. Okay, derech hamonim me'avirin et hanimnin ze achar ze. Okay, so this was the way that those who count Mavirin are passed through.
Yeah, they pass the ones being counted one after another.
Oh, okay.
They pass like through a style, kind of.
Oh, okay. V'chein kol asher ya'avor tachat hashevet. And so they pass under staff. Okay. V'chein ta'avorna hatzon al idei moneh. And so the sheep, I guess, Tavorna, who pass.
There's a quote from a pasuk in Yirmiyah. So it says,
Okay.
we used to say, let the sheep pass through the counter, in the one who was in charge of counting them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Machasita shekel b'shekel hakodesh. So half a shekel in a holy shekel. B'mishkal hashekel shekatzavti lecha. Okay, so let's see, Mishkal, the weight, I guess, of the shekel, katzavti.
That I have fixed for you.
Oh, fixed for you, okay. Lishkolbo, sheklei hakodesh, hektish.
This in other words, what's it mean, shekel hakodesh? What's shekel hakodesh? What's holy about the shekel?
Okay.
So that's what he's saying. Means that it's used for hektish purposes.
Oh, okay. Okay. Kigon shekalim ha'amurin beparashat arachin uste achuzah. Okay, so what for Kigon as example, the shekalim that are set in Parshat Arachin.
Parshas Erechin now. Erechin are when a person has to give a prescribed value, a fixed prescribed value.
Oh, okay, that's a good one. Okay. Okay. As Ustei Achuzah is a field that's inherited.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still had now said the thing is if somebody who sanctifies, consecrates his field to hektish, so we say he has to. It gets the value of the field given to hektish is not according to the actual real estate value of the field, but it works out. The Torah tells us it works out. You give a value of 50 shekels for 49 years. If it's a certain size, that's a base core. Okay, Zerach Chomer b'Chamishim shekel kesef. A core is 30 saw, which Namaisa is a size. One saw is 50 by 50. Multiply that by 30, so it comes out a field. 500 by
By 30, that's 7,500.
500 by 150. I don't know how it
150.
comes out. It comes out to something like 276
Oh, okay.
squared.
When you say
Yeah.
a saw is 30 by 50, you're talking about feet?
50 by 50, I'm talking about 50 by 50 amos.
Amos.
Okay. That's how much an average field of the size of 50 by 50 amos that would produce a saw of grain. An amount that's 50 by 50 amos. In fact, the area of the courtyard of the Mishkan, which was a 50 by 100, is described by Chazal as base sosayim. It's the size of 2 saw.
Ah,
Each saw being 50 by 50. So if you have 30, what's the square root of 30? It's 5 and a bit. No, 5.5, something like that. I don't remember exactly. 5.5 times 5.5.
Okay.
It's just a little over 30. So, so 50 times 5.5 comes to 275. It's a little bit, it's a little bit slightly, it's 273 if I remember right.
5.5.
Anyway, there's the square. Okay,
Okay.
fine. Okay, let's just finish off here. There's quite a
Okay,
bit
so
over here.
Esrim Gera HaShekel. So the shekel is 20 Gera. Akshav Perash Lecha Kamahu.
Kamoi.
So the pasuk